Have you been avoiding your finances and money? Or do you have lots of ease in this area? Whatever your current situation is, this subject can be pleasurable, fun, and light. And all it takes is the willingness to have more consciousness. Welcome to the Finances and Money with Joy podcast. I'm your host, Cristina Matsusaki, and I invite you to look differently at this world.
Hello, dear people. There's another episode of the podcast Finances and Money with Joy with Dr. Cristina Matsusaki. And here we talk about many things and how do you deal with money and finances in a way that you actually have pleasure and fun in your life. And today I have a surprise for you all. It's a guest, yes. So far you've heard me talking alone, but right now we're gonna have a delicious voice of Andre Risonho. Andre Risonho is a dear friend of mine, a person that I respect so much. And there are many things that I admire on him that I would like you to also see. And here is our guest, Andre Risonho. Andre, thank you very much for joining me and accepting this invitation. Please, present yourself in your own way. Thank you, Andre, saying what a responsibility. Thank you for the invitation. A good podcast for you. I'm lying. So, it's a pleasure to be here and to create this space for you. I am Andre Risonho, and I'm an advanced facilitator of job business. I do many things in access consciousness, and before that, I've been a professor of music. I've been formed in music, and here in Brazil, we do have many points of view about professors and money and music also, which was a lot of unlucky things, and money and professor and music, and you saw me, right, Chris? You saw me on my second month of in Access, so you joined me in all this change and growth and inversion of this relationship with money. Yes, Cristina is saying I had this privilege to join you, to see you. And I was also part of the public area, so network. So actually here in Brazil, we do have like this point of view, this stigma about professor, But what is this? Can you talk a little bit about that, André? I can talk about what it was for me and taking a lot of care not to generalize, talking this space of everyone has to be like this or this is how it's supposed to do. I've always loved to be a professor, and in a different way today now I also am a professor as a facilitator, and maybe another people can identify to it or myself or to that this story. And I've bought that thing that the good professor is never valued. Also, with the teaching is the profession that is the least valued. So I started and I started working with 300 to 500 per hour, working on 9 hours. So for me, around on the 20s, working with people that were working with the music on TV too was a big thing for me. It was enough, I could pay my house and my life, but I've never saw that it was a profession that could give me comfort and a life quality reality that was including everything that I wanted. And of course, I can include, but in the things that I believed, it didn't include. So many times I got myself in the thing that, oh, I want to carry the education, the culture on my back. And that was really a suffering. Nobody's gonna understand my work, but at the end of the day, I'll be happy because I don't know, I know I don't have that much of money, but I am well. As if it was a prerequisite. The more I'm suffering, the more I change the world. The less I'm valued, the more I change the world. As if it was a prerequisite. So, and this was one of the most beautiful professions in the world, and but it was like a paradigm that I was in it, but I didn't know I could get out of it, but it was the only one I knew was available. I'm not sure if it makes sense. And Christina said, yes, I do know it, and with my own experience when I was also teaching in the superior education, and I was working, and on the administration parts also, and with the whole college. It was a lot of time. I loved it and I adored it, but in another way, I looked at it in, all right, I'm completing my mission, but here, what about me? What about my relationships? What about my money? All right, I do have a good salary, you know. It was a nice one, but it was like as if I had this conflict. Is there anything else beyond that I didn't have to kill myself to get that I desired? So, and looking at what you're saying, I'm looking at this conflict. Do I really need to suffer to have what I really like, and with art and music and teaching? And how was it? Nowadays, looking at you, I don't see that conflict anymore. What was the magic that you created there? Well, I mean, Andre is saying, I think there is a change out in the area. I mean, in a way that nowadays I have the autonomy to create what I like and what I believe in, and inside this space of access consciousness facilitator, with the certifications that I have, I can have the autonomy of having everything to talk about everything I like. Of course, we have parameters because it's a global company, but really, right now, talking about what I believe in the time that I want, and it's an evolution of what I did before, because closing the door of the classroom when I was with the kids, or directors and professors of what I did, I did what I wanted when I was inside the classroom, but in reality is when we get out of the classroom. But right now it's really as if I'm all the time inside the classroom, and talking about people, and talking about filtering. Is this what the system wants me to do it? Right now I'm in the place that I can go against any system just because I exist, and this place of questioning, asking questions about, does it really have to be like that for every and each questions we have, and doubts about our value of richness, and what it means to be someone with money and without, because we are formed by this reality perfectly to fit in a box and to hate people without money, and romanticize people that don't have money, and have these points of view and positive points of view that fight a lot, and it has nothing. So, and I was in this system. So for me, this change is at the same time really entertain you, but it changes everything. It is the freedom connected to the freedom to be me and to do what I believe in, and changing the world way faster, and see the change in people's world they get in the classes and the talks. And really, it wasn't like a space of I have faith that one day it will change, but each day I see the change, and I have certainty in my life and each person's lives that I see coming on and going. And yes, Andre, Cristina is saying now, when you said it's not only about having faith, tell me a little bit, what have you done when you turned the key? Did you have any process? Is there anything that you used? What are these things that, I mean, it's almost as if unbelievable that if you get a few years of your life, that I know only in the past years, but taking this part, it was unbelievable the change that happened in your world. And it's not only a change of, oh, now I'm a different professional, I have monetary independence, but it's almost like it's a change of not only internal peace, but also actually living the life, even if it's not very comfortable, you're not sure most of times, but you're really like living a life that is worth it living. And it's way different when you get the before and after. And how is it? I know it wasn't only faith. Yes, and Andre is saying now, because I think there is faith, I think the word faith is so beautiful, but also with the paradigms that I had, it was also romanticized with the, oh, have the faith, but always for something, for a third thing away from you, like faith in God, faith in that universe is going to actualize, that things will change. But I think that the biggest change was the faith in bringing the faith. Of course, it includes God, universe, and everything that warms your heart. It's not like with God or against God. It's really like inverting the paradigm in a way that the big change was when I first started believing in me and having my own instinct. And changing my life as if it's like, and because when I first started these tools, and you can ask the questions about anything that shows up for you, but I'm gonna talk about it in a bit. I met Access in my 27 years old. I did had different therapies that I already did, but I don't remember very much. I'm very grateful for it all. It kept me alive, but it was something like I always kept a level of depression on the highs and downs, and I couldn't leave home without having Rivotril at my backpack, because I was afraid of not always being fine. So, and I did had like energetic therapy back then, and it helped my life a lot. And after that modality, people started asking me about Access, and do you do bars, do you receive bars, do you facilitate Access bars classes? And I was like, oh my god, what is that? Let me search on Google, and then I reject those things. All right. And there's people started invading, like it's about linear thing. I was rejecting so much I didn't even read those things. All right. Then someone gave me a session, so I've driven to have that session. So in a few months After the session, I got in the classes that was so advanced in access that most people don't get in. And at, I had in a space that I didn't have the money to do the second class, and I also had that money from my family that they gave me, like, all right, I'm not gonna buy the car or anything, I'm just gonna invest on music in my profession. And it was in a place, and I was just starting to go through the money and go. I had the money to have the change that I wanted. I did the second access course about foundation that I didn't have the money. Everyone that has a bars class can do this foundation class. 20 days after I had done my bars class, the only vacation that I had 4 days, I was going there. Alright, so or I do now, or I do in 8 months, because I can't. I was new in the. I couldn't ask for a vacation, or it was at that time, or it wasn't. I wouldn't do any class. So this space of stopping making money, something that is more important than myself. That if I don't go, I'm gonna give up of who I am. I think everyone already had that time in the life. Everybody, some people call a call or waking up or whatever, and I had this time that I needed to do this. There was a time that there was like an accountant that someone in the bank said that they can't use. I couldn't use anymore. You stopped your life in 2 months. You're using so much. And I was like, oh my God, you can't. Don't let me. It is my account. It is my money, because I was using so much, at the time. It was, and then it was in Brazil. I wanted to do that class too in 2019. It was a moment that I saw myself absolutely zero in each account. I had no money, nothing, no application. The card was like with full with the limit, and basically my revenue stream was what I received from the mayor center, the public job that I had, which was 1/3 of what my credit card was going to charge that month. And now Christian is saying, you're now telling me that the normal is what they say. You have to plan yourself according to his point of view. You're stopping your reserve, you're young. All these thoughts of these patterns on how creating your financial life was creating in a good intention, but it wasn't this. It wasn't this thought, this, we can say, algorithm that is what's going to work for you. And it just got that there was a way for you to work better. Was it did? You made choices. Like, alright, first I choose. The rest the universe is going to rearrange. Was it like that? Actually, Chris, it was this exactly, Andre saying now. But I think I still had the level of letting go of, because it was so new for me. We're talking about 2 months and a half. This story, my first class, until I got to a Symphony of Possibilities class, I had no sense of if I would really receive anything and it would take me to anywhere. This sense that I had, it was like I don't have another option unless going. It's the first time something's really calling me. And I was a search, I was seeking person. I went through many things, like in religion and in therapy, traditional to try to fix my panic, my self-esteem, abuse, depression. And at the time that I got that space, there was like, oh my God, money is easy. What's going to happen the worst if I get in debt? I'm going to negotiate. I cannot be left. Nobody can leave me in my job right now because I'm in a public job. I was tired of doing what people thought it was right, what education needed from me, all my bosses needed from me, and not what I needed in a way of what I wanted. And what he talked was totally correct, but I was this change of my mindset. I had no certainty. It was just like following this flow and this journey. And it's because right now, nowadays, my biggest ask for everyone is give a step bigger than your leg, because if you rip this muscle, you're literally allowing the universe or God to whatever you believe in your warm heart. Alright, always put here what works for you. If you rip your muscle, you give it space, you allow it to be fulfilled by anything that you desire, communion and everything that you desire in life. And before I met Texas, before this like call that I had, was I always negotiated in a way that this reality, especially the stability, was the most important thing for me, because I never had that with music. It was the first time I could have vacation with money, and well, with 26 I had 6 months. I almost got blind. It was really like a horror movie. My family had to use in a mask and clothing, and I was working an hourly job, and instability was really like crazy for me. Our lives' growth, they arrive through many breaking processes, and I had to break my system of beliefs and first her to believe in myself, because I've already believed in everything, everyone, every people. Like, it wasn't bringing more of me, it was just refining the thing that the man that wanted to be right, and if he suffered enough, he would be alright. When you talked about breaking the muscle, like this break, we really talk about this terms here in Brazil, but now I see that this muscle, ripping this muscle, is actually letting go of that thing that you think is you, that isn't working. And when I talk about, I didn't have another option. It was like, okay, if I'm not being more of me, it's more like I'm going away. That's what it sounded like. Like, what is it? Is it worth living a life that you're not yourself? No. If not, I'm already living. I'm already going away. It was like this when you talked about it. Alright, it's a hypothesis of after facts. Yeah. It was like this ripping of this muscle. For me, is actually, alright, I'm willing to find something, finding myself, someone that is different than myself, that I know. And I'm not sure I'm gonna like it, but I'm willing, this. And yes. It was this space, and Andre is saying now, no matter what's going to happen, this, I don't want it anymore. So, this is something that we learn how to read after, like an energy of demand. In Nexus, language, I guess if we can say like that. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm going. You know, this energy. So for me, everything, all this mindset and beliefs were presented to myself. I had to question each and each of them, and about money too. And all right, I'm going away, you all. I'm going beyond you all. But the thing here, I think the word that is coming to me here is really the impetus and different. If something that is going to be bad, it's going to be from my truth. Because I had many different, I've experienced many things that got wrong, what should be right, what should be wrong, what should God get right and wrong. It was going to be the first time that it was going to be the right of Andre, and if it's going to get wrong and good, right, I was going to find out in a way. And can you tell me something that you used or something that you've done during this moment? Cristina is asking. That in this moment that you were looking at it all, right, truth, the points of view that you talked about. I'm afraid, but I'm going on, I'm moving on, I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna change them, or I'm gonna keep it. Can you, I know that you have, Access has many tools, but what, tell me one. It was in this process that I discovered my new passion that is control. And I started talking about this instability, and I figured out that behind it there was this controlling part of I'm not gonna get any poor, what I'm going to receive, that I'm not gonna get bad, that I'm trying to control everything. And one tool that isn't a tool, a pattern tool, that's something that I developed. Is it that I'm in control? Or I'm being controlled? When you are in this sensation that I cannot choose anything else, I don't have a guarantee, it's really, and not asking in a space of waiting for an answer, but opening this energy. In this moment, am I in the control of my life or controlled by something or someone or a situation? Because what was showing up for me was all these places that I thought that I was in control. I really had to give up my choice and give the control of my life to a pattern of beliefs that sad was fighting for me. You know, the sad was bringing me stability. That the personification of the bank manager. I'm your friend, and you're not gonna use your money. And in that moment, when I listened to that voice in my head, not from the manager, but from my head, was it me in my life controlling my life, or there was something that was controlling it? Oh, that's fantastic. Andrea, Cristina is saying, am I being a slave? Perfect. Andrea is saying, yes. Whenever I'm talking about control, it's literally in my banners, it's literally this. Because we swear that we are in control, but the manual of choices are limited. And we believe we're in control because we do have 2, 3 options, and you don't actually have a menu to choose A, B, C. You have all. You have all. Not as a puppet in the graphics. And Christine is saying, wow, you really have all those infinite possibilities, choices. And I know that you were one of the only two advanced facilitators of joy of business. That is one of the specialty of access consciousness here in Brazil. And I know here it's an area that talks a lot about money and finances, many finances, but business. We cannot talk about business without talking about money. But I would really like you to talk a little bit about what is this that you deal with money in a different way, especially with joy. That is the title of this podcast, of course. Finances and money with joy. And can you have joy in that? Well, Andre is saying now, that's one of the questions that I think it's one of the most curious and interesting to look at, because the practicing of access tools brings joy to life, to my life actually. I'm not sure if many of you that are listening, for me, at least for me, before access money was the most, like, with luck, a relief, the most. Happy? Maybe on the last month of the year, when I received twice. It was from receiving before I used it all. That was the moment of the closest of happiness with money for me. So when we get your life is your business and the rest is what you work with. And when we talk about joy of business, right, this is what I see, my vision. I believe the joy of business is the joy of living and being alive and to exist. So when we start to access the box of tools and how we can change everything when we desire change, how to apply, where we start to rewrite the patterns in your life, that you unlock your receiving, because receiving projects, clients, money in every area of your life. And at the same time, even though it's a talk that we're talking, it's like we're only talking beautiful. We don't have project, we don't have a thing, we don't have contact. It's actually more pragmatic than it looks like. We literally don't have joy with money in a system that we carry, in the pattern that we carry. What is fascinating about access and about joy of business, when you read the Joy of Business book by Simone Milas, when you I love this job really. First time I got in contact with your job, actually, Cristina, is with this book. When you choose to use the tools, this podcast and Simone's podcast, when you choose to be in a class, you don't even realize, but you're receiving downloads. You're unlocking those beliefs, parts that keep you away from angry and that hate of receiving money, and you start in your life and you start to receive money and opening a real gratitude and enjoying having money, because it's not more a need, a necessity. It's more like a bad thing, a word that you need to pay things. This capitalism thing. It's really like the power of choice. It's not really like this. It's in money. It's in your bank account, in a Pix, in your digital account, and you have this joy of having it all. And now I'm like, am I just putting things here, or do you have any question, Cristina? And Cristina saying it's wonderful to see what you're adding here. You're really bringing a different perspective. It's not only about the perspective of let's fix our problems with money. You're really talking about, all right, okay, look, you can receive, and you start to throw away all the beliefs you have on how it should work in the society's rules, and you start to look at how you can receive from all the world and all the things. And this is like, it has the consequences of money. what we talk of, the bills, the coins, the payments, and you're talking about from this perspective. You can realize, you can enjoy, you can receive, you can live this abundance of money. You can enjoy physically the comfort it brings. You can actually blossom a project that you want to make or want to happen, and not anymore running for it and doing this to fix things. And this thing of getting that the money isn't the problem, but you are the solution, and receiving is the key for it. And you are bringing me another key, that is gratitude. That if someone, even for me, like I had this experience of having this gratitude, being grateful, really, your last part of yourself, you don't have any judgment, no point of view of judging, not positive or negative in that moment in your world. And that gratitude, it is the joy, and that creates your life, your business, from creating this from gratitude, joy. There is not another option of bringing money. It's gonna bring money in this perspective. And I only had, after a few years practicing the access tools, and all those that we already talked in this podcast, which are the thing of being an infinite being, that of who does this belong to. Sometimes everything that is going in your head may not be yours, and having the courage to never give up on what you are, but also to give up on what that doesn't work for you anymore, like you're saying, the control, and very specific tools relating to money and finances, like your 10% account. That these two, I saw you in a very shocking example. Could you talk a little bit about that, Andre? Also, yes, actually, Andre is saying now, if you excuse me, I just wanted to bring here a fantastic energy, and I'm sure the people that is listening here, they are perceiving this. When we just started adding the concepts of that looks like just coming and going. When I started talking about changing the key, but unlocking the key, I know that you didn't stop. Like, if you have this uncomfortable thing, if you just got present with when we banalize the gratitude word, it's just a word that everyone uses to prove that they are grateful when they're receiving nothing. Because if you stop, it's not only about agreeing or disagreeing with us, it's only this space of, all right, we opened this door to talk directly about money, finances, and change, and adding gratitude and in these paradigms, and these uncomfortable things and objections that are in our mindset showing up right now. And if you look at it and take it all as a change project, and you can see what you're choosing now, sometimes not to receive like a different information, if it's important in your life or not. And I just wanted to make sure that it's like really contribution for people to listen. And maybe you're asking yourself, why was I comfortable listening, and now I just want to find a way to justify my objection to them. All right, that's it. That's why I'm going to stop listening. No, it was good up until now. I know that most of people that had resistance have gone because it was too uncomfortable. And if you're here believe, no, recognize that you do have a different desire. And it's not right, like about being right or wrong if you're here or not. It's really like if there's an objection, a charge in our life, it's a material for you to study. And let's talk about this, right? The 10%. Thank you, Andre. Perfect. Thank you, Chris. It's a delicious thing. Because true. Truth. The word is for the seekers, and just and me and you, we are sharing something here that we do have something here that is I don't want, I can't and I want. And why did we have a different result? And now we do have like a voice about, because we had this courage to look at them with this curious vision. If you look at them like with a conclusive resistance, you're going to be in the control of your life or always being controlled. Where was this resistance implanted? Is this working for you to go beyond or to stay in the same place? Because this is the peer that I want to bring here, because we get out of this episode, this podcast, only with this information that the time that our system starts to show up for us to reject something or for us to accept something blindly, are we really in control or being controlled? And what is this? And so I can go directly to my living choices with these tools. Do you want me to bring more information about what is the tool or only my experience? No, everything, because most people don't always listen one podcast after the other. So it may be the first time they're listening to the podcast, Cristina is saying. So what is this tool of 10% of honoring? Now Andre is saying, I love to talk about it because this is one of the tools of access that people most use against them. It's so simple. I love it. The name of it. You're amazing, right? The idea of the account of 10%, please feel free to correct me to say anything, but I'm gonna talk about it. For each dollar or real of money that you get, you're gonna keep 10% to yourself. And as you said in the title, it's a 10% account of honor. Isn't it? Christina saying? No, that's you saying, yes, you're correct. It's a 10% account, which the objective is to honor it. But most people look at it with two energies. Or she looks at it, they look at it in a way of, I'm stealing from myself 10 cents each $1 that I get, and then they create that account in a hating sense. I'm stopping enjoying what I have, or they look in a different way, like of, right, I'm going to keep it to do the next class in a day, and then I'm gonna pretend I stick accounts, and she said it's alright, you can take it. And alright, so even for myself, like, so I'm gonna talk about it too. So the last place we get to is, wow, I'm actually honoring me with this. And when I first met Access that I shared with you, it was January. 7 months, 8 months that I was in Access, that there was an advanced class in Brazil, Choice of Possibilities, which was with Simone Milasas. And the first question that I asked Simone Milasas in this Access class was, Simone, I know Access in X months, my whole life changed. I changed my house, I'm happy, I'm getting way more money. The only tool that I hate to use that I can't is the 10% account. Then I looked at her and I said that. And she was like, yeah. all right, do you have anything to say? Now she was like, okay, I have two things to say. First, if it's not true for you, don't do it. It's okay. And the second thing is exactly the space that I got to you. The tool that you have the most resistance is the tool that could change your life the most. I was like looking at her. Okay, that's the tool that I do have the most resistance, and she was like, and she speaks with authority. That's actually her experience with money too. She talks so much about this tool. She talked about it in her book. It took her a while for her to use this tool, and also even with that, in a space of no, it's not gonna work anyways. And after a while, I'm gonna stop, and nothing gonna happen anyway. And then it surprised in her life and in mine too. After everything that I chose, it was the compromise of using this tool and making this tool and actually choosing this. I negotiated it with myself. Alright, if it works, I'm gonna keep going. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna take the money and buy a gift. And I wanna see what it creates in my world. And Chris is a testimony that in my life. The same week that I had that class, I facilitated a body process class, and then I started my drawer with my money, and then I changed to many bills, the same amount, but so it could be more full. It wasn't a lot of only the box, but many bills, and I played as filling the box, and I only had gratitude for what I got after seeing that box growing up. It grew up, and then it was getting. I couldn't open the drawer, the box anymore. So I started doing short piles of money. It was a way of visceral way of creating, of recognizing what I was creating. If I had or not money, I would always see money or count. I had to have that contact with the money. Why is that an honoring account? The idea for that is for you to never use it. Or if you use it, something that is not gonna need maintenance or that is going to not be valued with the age, like car. It's not gonna value anymore in the future. So you can start buying gold or jewelry, and I started looking at the money. I just got to buying jewelry a few months from now because I liked like seeing them growing up. I had this sense of I'm stealing from me. Before I had this sense of I'm stealing from me. I'm not gonna use it. Alright, so but what is the richness of that? Are you really sending an information to you, to the world, your unconscious? Before any account, before anything beyond me, I come first, because our point of view creates a reality. And I know you're tired of listening to that from many modalities in the world, especially from Access. And your word has power, and more than your word, but the energy behind the word and what we are taught. I was taught, and you can talk about yourself, but first we do have obligations, and if there's anything left, it's for me. And what is the universe going to send you if you put the bills in the first place? More bills? No, I want money. But you will only give priority to your bills. Guess what? Words is good, but without the energy, it's not gonna work. So for me, it was a change, a big change. For a good while, if I created this space of, alright, having a class today, I'm going to the bank, and then I got the money, the 10% account, and I do that. Nowadays, I can't do that daily, but I go there monthly. I send to my accountant, and I just started to practice 2 years ago the 10% account of Andre and the 10% of account of business. It was something for me unbelievable. Alright, I'm not taking only 10%, I'm taking 20%. No, I'm honoring myself twice. Honoring my business energy and allowing it to thrive even more and creating a space of recognizing it is its own organism, and also Andre and my body and the contribution his. And ask if you have anything that is showing up, or if I didn't get to get an energy, because I tend to click on many buttons and not get into to exactly the point. So yes, Christian is saying now. I would like to know one more thing about this too. It brings an intimacy with money. If you practice it, it brings the recognition that you are generating, and you realize everything that you're creating, generating, and it brings this moment of being able change the paradigm of how you function with work, with money. And there is another aspect of this tool that is actually the peace that it brings when it gets to when your drawer gets full, or you get to a certain amount, right? 100 or 100,000, and but it's like this peace. Have you ever gotten this moment of peace with money? Yes, and I think it was really funny. Fun and beautiful recognition thing, and talking what we talked about in the beginning of this podcast. I had many beliefs. I cared a lot of energy of limitation of money. For the first time, looked at my 10% account. For me, 3,800 reais was already a big change for me. It was when I looked in front of the money, I was crying. I was like, oh my god, I do have money. This is 10% of what I've created in the last months, and this is for me. If I have no money in my wallet and my account, zero in my account, I do have money. It was a salary of what I received from the public thing, but that was just a percentage of what I created. And if I was on zero, I already got a salary in there. It was really this moment of getting this reading of getting the construction of my value. First time I got it, it was like, I do have value. I do have value. Right. So, because before, maybe it's an important information, because the first thing that I talked before is how the professor in music was not valued, and how money was in this profession was closed, and with the salary and the money, and actually acknowledging that there is a life beyond the normal job, and there is value beyond the validation of people. And from that point, it was always a pleasure, delightful to stop once a month and count the money or do anything. And even nowadays, if there's one day that I'm not very well, alright, that's the day that I'm gonna look at my 10% account. That is not here with me at my place because I got to a point that, alright, I started to contract to have a certain amount of money, physical money. So I know my point of view creates my reality. So I do have two options. I can ask if I'm willing to change this quick enough not to get my revenue stream locked, or if I need to put in an account or an investment, or not to lock how much money to get in, because I started to have this palpitation of having physical money. So alright, I'm honest, and I'm honest enough. It's better if I'm invest in something or resorts in Costa Rica and not having it physically. And nowadays, when I look at it and I see, I just say, right, how would be my life if I kept going without believing in myself? I would have a nice life, a comfortable one, with the patterns that I chose to have before. But how much would I have changed, and how many people's lives would I actually have impacted? And I would say, how much would I have to suffer to impact it? Because I knew I had an impact with the children or another professor that would see it different, and I really had a change. I've changed people like getting another person when getting out of there. But now in a podcast with you, with the zero suffering, zero suffer, we have way much change to change people's lives in a profound way, in a deep way. So it's really nice to see the change of money, but also the recognition of ourselves to change what the reality proposed to us, and allow it all to rearrange. Let the money to get back to you, not you going forward the money. And it's a multiple way of process of building it all as you build who you are, your vision of the infinite being that you are, a person in business also, how you use access also. When it facilitates the limitation, it also facilitates you to see what you can create in every area of your life. And it's wonderful. Christine is saying it's not like the tools can make a lot of magic in a very short time space, but also the box of tools and everything, like living, using without giving up. And I would even say persistence, with consistency and coherence. This it's like this use without giving up. What else? I'm gonna use again. Alright. This tool again, and use again, and more possibilities, and choose, and keep going forward. And this, I believe it's one of the wonders in this set of tools, and especially what you said about access tools. It's instrument. You do have the tool, you do have it in your hand to open your life and really start creating your life. It's a thing that is different in your life that I saw actually in Access, that is way different than many places I've seen. And lately I've been asking myself, what do I desire with money and in my finances area, with my business, but especially like personally, what do I desire? Is it money that I want? And lately it's coming from me, I desire peace, and not peace of, oh, I don't need to worry myself anymore, I can do whatever I want. everything I want. I have everything I want. It's a dynamic piece of developing the generative part of yourself to have the not the like having the flow, surf on it all, have the flow of it all. I don't know how the word is, but that's the dynamic that I desire right now. Maybe in the future I have a different space, but now it's coming from me. It's not the money in itself, it's the peace with finances and money. Anybody talked about it? And sorry, please keep saying. And at that time that you saw your 10% account, that amount, when it's like it's covered another word of you, what really is yours, and how you function with money that isn't necessarily a pattern. That's, I want more of that. For me, that is peace. That's so beautiful because that's the energy of peace and dynamics. It's exactly what I have to put in words. When I get in the dynamic point in our life, you're not controlled anymore, but you are in control. That space of you're the main character in your life. And another word that usually translates to people, this energy, more from this space that it brought, also with the acknowledgement that I had with myself. Wow, I do have a salary here. Some months I do have. My 10% account represents the salary. It's not a salary a month anymore. So it's a word that is sufficiency. It's sufficient to take care of my life. It's not like a result of the external things, but the external things are folding to ourselves, to our point of view. This is one of the most phenomenal things when I functioned from dependence. If I heard about this talk that we just had, I would have so hate. I would be so angry about what we were talking about. If you saw the situation that I was in, so how much I would have to suffer to work so I could have a salary once a month. If you talk about joy, I would be like, oh, stop, get out of here. And that's why it's a big irritation when the resistance shows up. Just use it as a studying material, because it's not wrong. Don't make it wrong. Alright, use it. So we have to acknowledge another way of another smart way for our system that we've installed. It's giving it a time frame. I'm asking what else is possible from 10 days ago. I'm asking for a change and about money, and I'm listening to the podcast of Chris from months ago. And if you do use the time, you're gonna look at the wrong of you, and not a gratitude for each perspective and point of view that has changed. So another pearl of business that you can bring to your life, and it's one of the things that I bring people to look at them. Most people don't allow themselves to look at it. Take the timeline out of your asks. We are in the system that we bought, in a culture, in a family, in a professional area. We've bought so many things. We are changing now. So very few of what we are experiencing right now, it's what is going to be created. If we only look at the results, physical results that we can touch, you're gonna put in the garbage every change that is going on in your limiting beliefs and everything that is actualizing a different future. So, and yes, it can bring the faith space and very positive things, but don't have faith on what I say, on Chris say, on what Access brings. Believe in you and your movement and how the things don't show up in a linear way, especially in the monetary world. Even though it shows up as so linear in the world, it's how we put in the garbage every choice that we bring that are realized in the world. So take the timeline out of the way and know, joining you, investing you, being you is one of the processes that can be one of the most challenging, because it's going to show up every belief systems that you're choosing, and because the change shows up in a big ball that is going to big and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we don't believe how big it is and how happy it is after it all, and this peace with money that we talk so much in every area of our life. Because in the end, the purpose of money can be to change the world in a better place, even though if we haven't seen it happening in the pattern world. But it can happen when it's in the secure hands, people that see the world in a different way. The money is on their hands. That's what can happen. And yes, Cristina is saying yes. And the money would be available really for people that seek more of that, more of this peace, this consciousness, or how you would like to call it. So, and people, wow, how many tools we talked about today. And if I were you, I would listen to it all again and use all these tools and to try them, to give it a chance. And if it isn't very clear, read a book from Access Consciousness. There are many in Portuguese, a lot in English, and other languages, and listen to and come to the classes, to Access classes, specifically to business or money. And thank you so much for being so vulnerable and opening so many moments of your life. Not only the historic facts, but what showed up for you inside you. And thank you so much for it. I would like for you to also put it here. How is it that people can find you? Visit their website and Instagram. Feel free. And also, if you can bring a last word for the gaggle. Yes, Cris, I would like to thank you for the space, the friend that you've been to myself, and for everything. Thank you so much for inviting me to present to your beautiful public, that people can create something different, what is valuable here. If you want to see everything from me, you can find it in my Instagram. My Instagram is Andre Risonho CF. And there you can see my link tree, my YouTube link, my SoundCloud, Telegram. I have more than 500 videos. I literally have like 18 days of free videos for people to watch. So I have so many tools of money, of business. There are many reflections, moments to laugh. And if you would like to talk to me by email, you can send to me on Andre at andrerisonho.com. And then we can talk directly to me. But no, it's always my schedule is always full of free things and about investing and ways of perceiving and looking at controlling things and the difference that you are in your life, neurodivergence, and this fantastic world of possibilities. And it was a pleasure to connect with you all. Thank you so much, Andre, Cristina, and saying. So, we got here, and I see you all on the next. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Muito obrigada. Beijos. Tchau, tchau.
My target is to empower and invite more and more people to the joy that finances and money can be. You can know more about this through my social media and my website chrismatsusaki.com. And if you know anyone that's looking for this, let them know. Thank you and see you soon.